Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel. It's Victoria Adriana. Get realigned with me today as we talk about discipline and changing our relationship with discipline. So if you're someone who struggles with discipline or feels like you have a hard time tapping into your willpower, this video is for you. We're gonna work on realigning discipline into something that's empowering and self-nurturing. I know personally in the past I have had issues with discipline. When it came to like being in high school, for example, you have to do your homework or else you fail, or you have to follow certain rules or else you're punished for it. The first thing that comes to mind when it comes to being disciplined and when it comes to seeing why a lot of people have trouble with discipline in their lives. But we're gonna redefine that today. Rather than being a restriction or a punishment, we're gonna start viewing discipline as an act of self-love and respect. So common misconceptions when it comes to discipline is that in order to be disciplined, you have to deprive yourself of something that you want. The main thing I could think of when it comes to this is that when a lot of people go into changing their diets, like for example, let's say someone wants to become vegan, they almost suddenly cut out everything they used to eat and get very strict with how they eat, very strict on how they live their life, which is okay if that works for you. But what it really comes down to is that people are just trying to prove that they can be disciplined in that area. But we can be disciplined without depriving ourselves of things. So let's say we want to eat healthier. We can just be more mindful to include more fruits and vegetables in our diet rather than depriving ourselves of everything that we used to eat in the past. The goal for discipline is just consistency, being consistent in something, even if it's a minor change. A lot of times people may resist discipline because it's so closely associated with the past negative experiences. Those blockages that we've experienced mentally and emotionally can make discipline feel like a really heavy thing for us to process. But if we can shift our mindset to the way that we view discipline and the relationship that we have with it, we'll be able to start developing it very naturally. So how do we shift our mindset? First, we start viewing discipline as a practice of self-care and self-respect. So rather than forcing ourselves to do things we don't want to do or do things that don't feel natural or good to us, it basically comes down to aligning our choices that we make for ourselves with our long-term goals for our mental and emotional health. It doesn't have to be something that we put extreme effort into every day. It can start with very small, simple choices. It can be, waking up the same time every morning, or when you wake up, choosing to drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. It's all about just showing up for yourself in very meaningful ways and in ways that benefit your overall well-being. So let's talk about shifting our language around discipline and changing how we talk about it. If you saw my last video on living more intentionally, you got through the whole thing because I know it's pretty long. I talked about the importance of self-talk. We can apply that same idea to the concept of discipline and really the concept of anything we're having trouble with. It can make a huge difference. And the way we speak about things and the mindset we have about them has a big impact on how we relate to them and how we're able to work with them in our lives. So we can shift from speaking about discipline as it being something negative and feeling like there are certain things that we have to do and they're draining us or we're not looking forward to them, into something that we see more as an opportunity. That can definitely help us change our relationship with it. So for example, sometimes let's say if you run a business and you just start to think of all the things you have to do, like I have to wake up early in the morning, I have to place these orders, I have to do payroll, I have to do this, I have to do that. Instead, you can shift your mindset with those areas that you have to be disciplined in and say, okay, I get the opportunity to wake up early in the morning and start my day, or I get the opportunity to pay my employees, or I get the opportunity to run my own business every day. Same thing can be applied to anything that we may be having trouble with getting into. It could be working out. Like instead of I have to work out today, I'm so tired, you can be like, I'm feeling a little tired today, but I get the chance to work out and maybe that will help me with my energy levels. We can even go as far as to creating different affirmations and mantras surrounding discipline. One affirmation that I think is really good when it comes to discipline is, every small step I take is an act of self-care. So that means every glass of water I drink, I'm caring for my body, I'm hydrating myself. It comes back to doing things intentionally. Every time I work out, I'm supporting my body, I'm supporting my energy flow. I'm making a healthy choice for myself. Every time I sit down to make a YouTube video, I'm helping accomplish my professional goals and sharing more information about health and wellness. Every small step I take is an act of self-care. So let's get into 4 practical tips for building a healthier relationship with discipline. Tip number 1, start small. Start with minor, achievable goals that foster self-confidence rather than make you feel overwhelmed. 2, Focus on progress and not perfection. Practice patience with yourself, practice self-forgiveness, and remain flexible in your discipline. You don't have to do everything perfectly on the first try. 3, make it enjoyable. You can realign with discipline by incorporating joy into your routines. Some ways to make new habits that you want to develop more enjoyable are listening to music while you do them, while you cook for yourself or while you work out, or setting up a cozy space to journal or to get work done. For me, if you watch my video in September, I made my office very cozy to make me feel motivated and enjoy getting work done here. And tip number 4, track your wins. Sometimes the little things that we accomplish for ourselves don't get as much acknowledgement as the big ones. I encourage you to keep track of the progress that you make, especially your internal progress. You can write them down on little pieces of paper, put it in a jar, and reflect on it at the end of the month or at the end of the year. You can journal them, you can write them in the notes in your phone. Just make sure you take some time to acknowledge all the things that you've been accomplishing for yourself, because that's just as important as anything else. So if you made it this far into the video, thank you. And I want to know how you feel about discipline. What are some areas in your life you want to be more disciplined in? What has your relationship with discipline been in the past? And how do you plan on shifting it in a more positive way? If you found this video to be helpful, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you soon.